السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. فصل في كيفية القسمة. قال: وينبغي للقاسم أن يصور ما يقسمه ليمكنه حفظه ويعدله، يعني يسويه على سهام القسمة. ويروى يعزله أي يقطعه بالقسمة عن غيره.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. اللهم نور قلوبنا بمعرفتك واشرح صدورنا بنور كتابك وسنة نبيك، واحفظنا عن زلل وخطأ في بيان مرادك. ربنا فاغفر لنا ذنوبنا وكفر عنا سيئاتنا وتوفنا مع الأبرار. ربنا وآتنا ما وعدتنا على رسلك ولا تخزنا يوم القيامة إنك لا تخلف الميعاد. So we continue with the kitab on Kisma, which is the distribution of a shared property or ownership. And this particular chapter, this particular chapter has got to do with how the Kisma will take place. How will the property be divided? So there are four things being discussed under here. Number one will be an empty plot. So how will the Qasim, the arbitrator, go about dividing an empty plot with no buildings, nothing on it? Then secondly, a plot with a building on it. Thirdly, a building with its hukuk and rights that are attached to it. And the fourth thing is, the fourth discussion, I just forget now. Inna lillahi, Allahumma salli ala sayyidina Muhammad. Anyway, there's a fourth discussion as well. So the first one is with regards to an empty plot. قال وينبغي للقاسم أن يصور ما يقسمه. It is necessary for the Qasim, the arbitrator. Remember, the Qasim is the one who is appointed by the judge. He won't do the actual division. The judge won't do the actual division himself, but he'll appoint somebody who has expertise in these matters to do so. So he's like an arbitrator in the matter, and you'll be the one who will actually be dividing the shares. So it is necessary that the Qasim sketches what he's going to do, what he's going to divide. So he must go to the empty plot. He must sketch the plot, where it is, what is on its sides, and who's adjacent to it, who's above it, below it, and so forth. All of those things. ليمكن حفظه, so that it will be possible for him to preserve his conclusions. And so he'll sketch it, he'll work everything out, and then he will be able to keep the record of it, right? In order to make it possible for him to keep a record of it. ويعدل, right now this word is يعدل أو يعزله. يعدل, if it's يعدل يعني as it is in the Latin here, يعني يسوي على سهام القسمة. يعدل meaning he will divide equally upon the various portions of the division, and he will divide it equally based upon the various portions that are owned. ويروى, and this word is also been narrated as يعزله. If it's يعزله, what does it mean? أي يقطعه بالقسمة. He will separate each share from the other, عن غيره, or he will each separate everything else that is to be divided from the rest of it. So all the other houses around it, or all the other dwellings or plots around it, must be completely separated from the plot that he is going to divide. ويذرع, and you will measure it as well, يعرف قدره, in order for him to know the extent of the plot. So we'll have to measure everything as well. ويقوم البناء لحاجته إليه في الآخرة أو في الآخرة, and he will also evaluate. So you'll get an evaluation on any buildings or things that have been built on it, right? Because he will be in need of the evaluation at the end. And for his final conclusions, when he's doing the Kisma, the evaluation of any building and so forth on there will be necessary, or you'll be in need of that. ويفرز كل نصيب عن الباقي بطريقه وشربه, and you will separate every portion, every share from the rest, together with the road or the path leading to it, as well as its water rights and any waterways and so forth which is connected to it, that must also be added to the different portions. حتى لا يكون لنصيب بعض من نصيب البعض تعلق. Why? So that there is no connection, تعلق, no connection whatsoever to the share of some over the others. And so when he divides the co-partners' shares in this way, it must be completely separate and completely disconnected, no connection whatsoever as far as possible to the other partner's share. فَتَنْقَطِعُ الْمُنَازَعَةُ. So in this way, any argument will be averted or avoided. وَيَتَحَقَّقُ مَعْنَى الْقِسْمَةِ عَلَى التَّمَامِ. And the meaning of division will be found in its complete form, to a perfect degree. ثم يلقب نصيبا بالأول والذي يليه بالثاني والثالث على هذا حتى آثر. Then you will label each portion by number 1, 2, 3. So share 1, share 2, share 3, like that. Each one will be labeled in this manner. ثم يخرج القرعة. Then you will place all of that into a lot. They have to draw lots. فمن خرج اسمه أولا فله الاسم سهم الأول. So then whoever's name is taken out first, he will be given the first portion of the first share. ومن خرج ثانيا, whoever's name comes out second or next, فله السهم الثاني, for him will be the second share, and so on and so forth. والأصل أن ينظر في ذلك إلى أقل الأنصبة. And the foundation in all of this, and working out the share, is to look at the smallest share, right? Same like how you do in mirath. So to find the common denominator to share, you'll take the smallest number, otherwise it won't work out. If you've got a share, for example, a quarter, a half, and a sixth, 6 will be the common denominator, and all the rest, and that plot will be divided into 6 shares, for example. See? You following? And so you'll use the smallest number as the common denominator in order to divide the property. حتى إذا كان الأقل ثلثا جعل إثلاثا. So for example, if the smallest portion is a third, then the property will be divided into three portions. وإن كان ثلثا جعل أستاذا. And if the smallest share is a sixth, then you'll divide the property into 6 shares, and so forth. ليمكن القسمة, in order to be able to divide the property, otherwise don't work out in any other way. وقد شرحناه مشبعا في كفاية المنتهي بتوفيق الله تعالى. And we explained this completely, totally, in full in كفاية المنتهي by the توفيق of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the author is saying, صاحب الهداية. وقوله في الكتاب ويفرز كل نصيب بطريقه وشربه بيان الأفضل. And his statement, the statement in the kitab, and you will divide every portion together with its pathway, its road, and its waterway. بيان الأفضل. This is to explain the best. Otherwise, if it's possible to do so, then this will be best. And each one has their own pathway, each one has their own road, and each one has their own access to water. فإن لم يفعل أو لا يمكن جاز. However, if it doesn't do so, for whatever other consideration, or it's not possible to do so, and this will also be permissible. This will also be fine. على ما نذكره بتفصيل إن شاء الله تعالى, as I will mention shortly in the next part, or in the third part, in this chapter, in detail, inshallah. All right. Oh yes, the fourth one, I'd say there's 4 discussions. One is the empty plot. Number 2 is with a building on it. Number 3 is with a building and its hukuk. And number 4 is if it's a multiple storied building, an upper story and a lower story. So that will be the fourth one. How to go about dividing that. Okay. وَالْقُرْعَةُ لِتَذْيِيبِ الْقُلُوبِ. Also, as far as drawing lots is concerned, that's also not necessary, but rather this is just to make the hearts happy, and to keep the hearts at peace, to be satisfied, to satisfy the hearts of the people. وَإِزَالَةُ تُحْمَةُ الْمَيْلِ, and to remove any possibility of the accusation of biasness, and that the arbitrator, the Qasim, was biased towards one of the uh, one was biased towards one of the partner co-owners. حتى لو أين لكل منهم نصيبا, therefore, if he was to stipulate for everyone a share من غير اقتراع, without them drawing lots, جاز, that will also be permissible. لأنه في معنى القضاء. Why? Because Kisma is in the Kisma has the status of qada, of as we did before. It has the same status or the same duty as a judgment. You understand? As a judiciary, part of the official duties of the judiciary. فيملك الإلزام, so therefore he has ownership. He has the right to compel the the people who ask for the kisma. He has the right to compel them to take whatever he has divided, or to accept whatever he has arbitrated. Understood that so far?
Sure. Was this قرعة?
Oh, to draw lots. To draw lots
To draw
means
lots.
that
Sure.
to draw lots.
So
Like
enough?
like Nabi Sallallahu used to do when someone used to go on a journey. He used to put like the different wives' names. Or sometimes they used to use like sticks, short stick and a long stick, but you hold it in such a way that you can't see the length of the stick. Whoever draws a short stick, for example, they must stay behind, or they're the loser. And whoever draws and whoever draws the long
Yeah.
stick, they win, or they get to go, and so forth. So, or vice versa. The different ways of doing it.
Sure.
Or you can take a torpy, take a name, write down the names, fold it up into small pieces, put it into the torpy, shake it, and then tell the people to draw. Since whoever pulls out
Sure.
the number or the name, whatever, that person gets to go first, and so forth, whatever. Right? So that's
Sure.
just to avoid any arguments or to avoid any accusation of being biased, because
Sure.
now it's coming from them directly. Understand?
Sure. جزاك الله.
Right. Now it's saying قال ولا يدخل في القسمة الدراهم دنانير إلا بتراضيهم. You will not include in the division money. Understand? Unless they are mutually happy to do so. Money meaning what? Meaning that for example, you couldn't work out the shares exactly equal. So one share is slightly short or whatever. So in lieu of that deficiency, he's giving monetary compensation from the other partner. So that's not allowed. I mean, I want to say not allowed. It's preferable not to do that unless there's an absolute necessity. As far as possible, the property must be divided equally amongst all the partners, amongst all the co-owners. And you should not. You should try to avoid the situation where one has to pay monetary compensation to the other partner. You follow?
Yeah.
Unless they're happy with it. لأنه لا شرك في الدراهم, because there's no partnership in the money, in wealth. والقسمة من حقوق الاشتراك, whereas kisma is from the rights of ownership or shared ownership. Okay? So they don't have shared ownership in the wealth, because shared ownership in a thing, in their own property or building, whatever it might be. ولأنه يفوت به التعديل في القسمة. And also by introducing money, you are going to lose out on complete justice, equality, you could say, or justice, not equality necessarily, but justice will be lost in the division. لأن أحدهما يصل إلى عين الإيقار والدراهم والآخر في ذمته ودراهم الآخر في ذمته. Why? Because one will gain the property itself, and the other one will have to owe him some money. So وَلَعَلَّهَا لَا تُسْلِمُ, and maybe he's not لا تسلم, and perhaps he's not happy to do so, not happy to give him money. He wants the property, because that is what they want divided. That is the thing that they're after. They're after the thing itself to be divided among them. They're not happy to give money or to accept money for it. You understand? They don't want money. They want the thing itself. You follow? Because the purpose of money is to gain something, to buy something. Money is not an objective in itself. You get money or you spend money every day in order to get something, to buy something. So from there we understand that is the thing that you can purchase with money. That is the main objective that of people have of the person. So therefore, in the same way here, the objective of the kismet is the person wants that property himself. He wants complete control, individual ownership over a part of over his share. He's not going to be happy with money. So this is going to by introducing money where it's not necessary, you are going to lose equality, or you're going to lose justice, and the one won't be happy with that. Understood? وَإِذَا كَانَ أَرْضٌ وَبِنَاءٌ. Right, so this is the second discussion. And if it is a piece of land together with a building, فعن أبي يوسف رحمه الله أنه يقسم كل ذلك على اعتبار القسمة على اعتبار القيمة. According to Imam Yusuf رحمه الله عليه, all of this will be divided according to the value of it. Not the share, but the value of it. We have to evaluate the property and the building and divide it in such a way that each one has the equal value, understand, of the building and the land. لأنه لا يمكن اعتبار المعادلة إلا بالتقويم. Because it's not possible to consider justice and equality except by evaluating this thing. وعن أبي حنيفة رحمه الله أن يقسم الأرض بالمساحة. However, Imam Hanifa رحمه الله is of the opinion that the land will be divided by its length, or by its measurement. Sorry, will divide. So if the property is 100 by 100, each one will get 50 by 50 square meters, for example. لأنه هو الأصل في المسموحات. Why? Because that is the original way of dividing something in something which can be measured. مسموحات. ثم يرد من وقع البناء في نصيبه أو من كان نصيبه أجود دراهم على الآخر. Then in whoever share the building happens to come, understand, or if anyone's share is better than the other part, he will then give money then equal to the difference. And so now the question is, but you just said now you must avoid money. So he's saying فَتَدْخُلُ الدَّرَاهِمُ فِي الْقِسْمَةِ ضُرُورَةً. He says no, here the money comes into the equation out of necessity. You can't avoid it. There's no other way to do it, according to this opinion of Imam Hanifa رحمه الله. كالأخ لا ولاية له في المال ثم يملك تسمية الصداق ضرورة التزويج. And for example, like a brother, he's got no authority over his minor sister in her wealth, but despite that, he has the right to stipulate the mahar for her out of necessity of getting married. Otherwise, when the father and the grandfather is not around, and the minor only has a brother, he has the right to stipulate the mahar. Otherwise, he'll act as the wali in the case of nikah, even though he's not a wali. Then the wali is the father or the grandfather. Okay, so out of necessity, we were forced to do that. So here also, out of necessity, we're forced to introduce money as well as a compensation. So the other partner was getting inferior part, or is not getting part of the building. وعن محمد رحمه الله أن يرد على شريكه بمقابل البناء ما يساوي من الأرصة. And according to Muhammad رحمه الله, he will return to his partner in lieu of the building that he's getting, whatever is equivalent to it from the land. Since we evaluate the building, and then that amount extra must be given to the partner from the land, from the plot. You follow? وإذا أبقى فضل ولا يمكن تحقيق التسوية بألا تفي الأرصة بقيمة البناء حينئذ يرد الفضل للفضل at the right. And if there's something extra which remains, then there's a leftover, It's not possible to be equal. It's not possible to establish equality in this way that the land is not equivalent to the value of the building. And at that time there, you will give money. At that time, you'll be give money. Otherwise, Imam Muhammad Ahmad says, to the greatest extent possible, we'll avoid money. But even then, at the end, if there's no other way to avoid it, then we'll use the money. So we'll first use the land to try and give equality by giving an extra piece. If that's also not possible, then you can go to money. So both are basically saying the same thing. It's just that Imam Muhammad is taking an extra step and he's trying to avoid money as to a further degree. You follow? لأن الذروة في هذا القدر. Why? Because the necessity is only this amount. الذروة تقدر بقدر الذروة. That necessity is only used to the extent to the extent that is necessary. So at this point we can say it's necessary. And so until we have not exhausted all the possibilities, we shouldn't go to money. فلا يترك الأصل. So we won't use the foundation or the original way of dividing, which is the land and the property in this case. إلا بها, except out of necessity in this instance. وهذا يوافق رواية الأصل, and this is in conformity to the riwayat in Asl in the Mabsud of Imam Muhammad Rahmatullah as well. Do you understand everything? The questions?
Abu Hanifa, if the person gets the bina, then he'll have to give like basically the amount in dirhams towards
Yes,
half of them.
correct. Yes.
Sure.
And Imam Muhammad goes even one step further than that. He said, no, don't let's bring the money in just yet. We'll go even further. Give him an extra piece of land or whatever.
Sure. You understood it,
Okay. Okay. Okay, so then there's the second section, discussion under this chapter. The third discussion is coming up next, where with the hukuk, with the issues with the hukuk, the rights which is owing to the land, how to divide that equally. So for example, the right to the road or the right to the waterway and so forth. Inshallah. Jeez. Subhanallah, alhamdulillah, subhanakallah, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.